Namaskar. In today's edition of Right Angle, I would like to share my thoughts with you on Pakistan. It is because just some time back, I think this morning, I read an interesting news item in which, or rather the news item that talked about the suggestion from Pakistan Cricket Control Board that for the forthcoming Champions Trophy, which is going to be staged there in Pakistan in some months' time, Indian team can consider going to Pakistan, play the match, and then immediately after playing the match, come back either to Chandigarh or Delhi. In any case, the flight time between Delhi or Chandigarh to any Pakistan city like in Lahore, etc., is around half an hour or so. So why not? Because by so doing, the Pakistani suggestion is that India's policy of not sending its team to Pakistan and make its player stay there will be met in the sense that they will play but not stay there. I think this is very interesting and to be very honest, a very funny proposal. This never has happened, nor even I think any sensible policymaker here in Delhi, or for that matter in our board of control of cricket, will ever allow this. But the point is, why such suggestions are coming? Because just 2 days back, the former Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, whose younger brother now is the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and it is almost an open secret that Nawaz Sharif is the real power center there, as far as the government is concerned, the civilian government is concerned. Of course, as I'll be explaining to you people a little later when I talk of Pakistan government. So this party or the Prime Minister or his ruling party or coalition is only one component of it. There are other components. Rather, they are more important. But what did Nawaz Sharif say? Nawaz Sharif said that enough is enough. After all, we are one people before the partition. He said that, look, my father's passport was an Indian passport. So why such state of affairs between two of our countries? We must forget and forgive the past, and we'll think of future people to people relations and what not. A very, very positive picture he presented, and he said that if something has happened in the past, in the recent past, then the former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, who incidentally succeeded Mr. Nawaz Sharif at the Prime Minister at that time, when Nawaz Sharif was forced to leave Pakistan, and that time the armed forces of Pakistan were supporting Imran Khan. And he said that the type of language that Imran Khan used against India and Modi were highly unbecoming of the posts he occupied, and that really created the real problem and accentuated further tensions between the two countries. If you listen to such things, then one really, feels and one agrees with one particular, school of, thought in the diplomatic circles that look, all told, India and Pakistan are the neighbors, and you cannot change your neighbors. You have to live with the reality of their very existence, and if they are there to be there, then it is better to mend ties. But point is, if you really go a little deeper than deeper to these goody projections and creating a very positive narrative, then one has to remember some facts. I will rather say that they're the bitter truth, and unless you face this bitter truth, there cannot be any real normalizations of relations between India and Pakistan. And what are those realities? The reality is, number one, you see, if you take, and I have often written about it many a time, if you really go through the history of India-Pakistan relations, then you see it is like a circle. What happens is this: somebody like Nawaz Sharif assumes power, or somebody like, in our case, I.K. Gujral assumes power. I'm not going to that Gujral doctrine, or the Vajpayee assumes power, and or for that matter, our former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi had visited Pakistan sometime in 89-90, and then what happens is this: the stalled relations between the two countries, there takes place not only some sort of thought, then some closed gate reopens, and when that opens, people talk of so-called many confidence building measures, and talking on security, talking on Jammu and Kashmir, talking on, say, Siachen Glacier, talking on Sar Creek, that maritime boundary issues. So then resumption of trade, promoting peoples to people ties, all these things. They said that let us talk, and the talks really do take place. The Indian officials go there to Pakistan, Pakistani officials come to India, and this is projected as really things are going to turn now. Everything is going to be very, very rosy, and then Indians will be saying that how a peaceful and healthy Pakistan is in the national interest of India, and likewise he will say, and these things are these talks are projected as great developments in the diplomatic course as far as these two countries are concerned. But what happened? All of a sudden, some big mishap takes place, like some big terrorism or terrorist incident, or some war like Kargil, attacks on our parliament. As I said, that big terrorist incident takes place, or for that matter that Mumbai Taj hotel attack by the Pakistani terrorists in 2008, and things really go back, and it is back to the square and zero. So this circle, again there is a rupture. We go and then again come back, and this is what precisely has happened. And what has happened is that, after that Mumbai attack in 2008, in every sense of the term, or in true sense of the term, the India-Pakistan relations have never been exactly normal. But in the meantime, what had happened, though this normality was, this abnormality was there, but some basic activities were taking place in the sense that our diplomatic staff was there in Islamabad, their diplomatic staff was here in Delhi, and peoples to people ties, some broad things, engagements, they were being carried out somehow or the other, but not exactly in a very normal way that one expects between two normal countries. But when in 2019 our Article 370 pertaining to Kashmir was abrogated, Pakistan snapped the diplomatic ties. It withdrew all its diplomats. Subsequently, all the Indian diplomats were recalled here. And since then, things have been lying really low. Nothing much has happened in between. And that time, actually, Imran Khan was there in power, and things worsened. That their attack on our troops in Uri, and then we crossed over, and that our air attack, the Balakot thing. I'm not going into the details, but this is how the situation at the moment is. And coming back to cricket, I think, as I said, that after the 2008 Mumbai attack, there had not been any cricket matches in Pakistan featuring the Indian players. They have played in some neutral venues on some even if they are in ICC match like in World Cup, though the Pakistani players have come. Actually, they did come to India and participated in last World Cup match last year. So this is the background against which Nawaz Sharif said this. But then this was accompanied by another development. Pakistan last week hosted this SCO summit, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, of which India is a member. Pakistan became a member 2-3 years back. And that is a group that includes countries like China, Russia, then in India. These are three principal countries, and Pakistan have joined and things like that. But in that summit, for that summit meeting, Mr. Modi did not go there, and our Indian delegation was led by our foreign minister S. Jaishankar, and it was made pretty clear that there will be no resumption of any bilateral dialogue. But the very fact that Jaishankar went there, and I think unofficially, or it invariably happens, actually when one goes there on the sidelines, there are some occasions when they meet the various world leaders on the sidelines. Apart from that, main conference where of course they are present, they are formally, but then that is strictly speaking in multilateral framework. But bilaterally on the sidelines, meetings do take place, and from that point of view, I think Jaishankar happened to shake hands with some Pakistani Prime Minister and some other minister, but the Pakistani media projected it in a very positive light, to be very fair to them. The Pakistani, and then Nawaz Sharif gave this interview to the Indian media saying blah 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 that I described before. So do you think things are going to be normalized? As a foreign policy analyst, I really do not see much hope in it, because again I'll be pointing out 3 or 4 very hard facts. You see, when one talks of Pakistan, there are 3 things one should realize. One, that Pakistan invariably is described as to be an army with a country, not a country with an army. I think there is a big difference. An army with a country and a country with an army. Why it is said army with a country? Because when one talks of the critical decisions that Pakistan takes in the international milieu, and particularly things pertaining to India, then the ultimate master happens to be the chief of army, not the prime minister or not the president, nobody else. And secondly, as far as Pakistan's the so-called nuclear policy is concerned, nuclear weapons are concerned, and its relations with important countries like US and China are concerned, as is the case with India. Again, it is the army that has got the final say. The civilian government does not have any role whatsoever. So whether Mr. Nawaz Sharif wants or does not want, it is immaterial until and unless the Pakistan army chief, what is his name, General Asim Munir, really agrees with it, or he takes some steps forward. So that has been Pakistan's history. You must be knowing, last time when Mr. Bajpayee went and Sharif again was the prime minister, that famous bus journey from Delhi to Lahore, and that was met by Nawaz Sharif's army chief, the then army chief, what is his name, Pervez Musharraf, attacking India through in Kargil, and and then subsequently he being toppled, and he, Mr. Musharraf, took over. He became the military ruler for quite some time. And there are similar incidents as far as the history of this Indo-Pak relations are concerned. As I said, it is the army which takes the important decisions. In fact, if now on our border front, like India-Pakistan border, or for that one line of control, it's relatively calm and quiet over the last 3-4 years. Then the credit does not go whatsoever to the prime minister, whoever. I think Nawaz Sharif's brother Saab, he has been the prime minister for the last 3-4 years. So the credit doesn't go to the civilian government. It is because the then army chief and now this present army chief, General Munir, they do not think that at this particular point of time, Pakistan, which is facing so much of domestic crisis, economic crisis, and then its relations with Pakistan have gone down, and most important thing, its relations with Afghanistan after the coming of the Taliban to power there in Afghanistan have really deteriorated, and almost in all their fights with India, always Pakistan thought that Afghanistan would be providing the country the so-called strategic depth. That is not taking place. So the army, Pakistan army, and its chiefs, the former chief and the present chief, they know that they are not in a position to aggravate any such hot war against India. and that's why our border and line of control are relatively calm and quiet. Though exactly they have not given up promoting or rather fomenting terrorist activities here in India from time to time. But that is something little different, but not real military exchanges of fire and whatnot have taken. Even this terrorist incident, their number has come down. So any normalization or any semblance of normalization, if one can think of, in India-Pakistan relations will be there if the Pakistani army chief really backs solidly the move of any civilian in the government. But that is extremely difficult and highly unlikely because, as I said, of this abrogation of Article 370 in Kashmir, Pakistan has taken an official position that there cannot be any normalization of relations with India until and unless the Article 370 is restored. And as I said, that is next to impossible. So that being the case, I do not see any other chance. There is another point I would like to mention before stopping, and that is the fact that what has happened in Pakistan is this. You see, Pakistan was created, or rather our country was partitioned in 1947. Pakistan was created to be a country for Muslims, right? But over the last 75 years, what has happened is that instead of it being a country of only Muslims, in which if you talk of Pakistan's father Muhammad Ali Jinnah saying that Pakistan would be a country where every community would be living peacefully, what has happened is this: it has become an Islamic country. So the Islamic fundamentalism, the way it has gathered strength there in Pakistan, and the mullahs, and in this context I'll say another thing, characterization of Pakistan is, as I said, rather I talked about the army with a country. There is another characterization of Pakistan, like this Pakistan is always controlled by 3 A's. One A, as I said, is for army. The second A is in America because it has always played or rather behaved as a pawn in the Cold War or the superpower in the rivalry. And now, of course, it is very close to China. But then, for most parts of its history, as an independent nation, it is US which had a profound role because of its military economic aid. So that is one is in army, the second one is in America, and third is Allah. Allah, this is what I said, that this is a fundamentalist thing. So what happens is this Pakistanis, you see their textbooks, or if you see the way this entire centuries old our common history, our common culture, our common tradition, particularly this Sufi tradition in which the Hindus and Muslims they always peacefully coexisted, and there was a very, very cordial relations between the two communities. There was shared culture, shared history, particularly in this part of the Indian subcontinent, the northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent. Including, of course, Delhi. That Sufi tradition, that is being negated. And if you read there, the history books that are written there, you'll be surprised to know they say that India was never a country. Pakistan was always a country, and India was a part of it. And this Muhammad bin Qasim, came in the 8th century and attacked, the then Sindh, that is how the Muslims came for the first time to our subcontinent. The then Hindu ruler, the what they call kafir and what not, they came, occupied, and it was their country. Subsequently Mughals came, so India was a part of Pakistan. It is not the other way around. And they trace their history not, as I said, to our common roots, common tradition. They trace their history to Allah and Muhammad of Saudi Arabia. I think they do not want to project themselves, all said and done, as a South Asians. They would project themselves as if they belong to their history, their tradition is more identified with Middle East or West Asia. So, and that sort of hatred, Hindus are cheats, cunning, and what not. This sort of thing always is given primacy there, and the children are taught this, and subsequently in when they grow up, and they have grown up. For instance, maybe Nawaz Sharif, those in their 60s or 70s, may be remembering of their common heritage, as he said that my father had an Indian passport from Amritsar. But then these new people who have nothing to do with partition, they were born in post-partition years, and if these children are being brainwashed by literature like this, official, as I said that in their textbook, then what does it reflect? It reflects that it is injected in their mind that India and the Indians are their enemies. So even if you carry these goody talks and indulge in all such things, but the substantially speaking, as I said, that if one goes deeper into it, unless these problems are taken care of, these problems are attended to, at the most what will happen? It will be again reviving, as I said, this cycle, which is nothing, a vicious cycle. Goody thing will happen for 4 or 5 years, but again because of this basic dangerous trait that is there under the ground, and that is what you get sustenance from. Some big incident will happen, another attack, another mini war, then another some big tragedies, and again it will go back and rupture. That circle will be completed, and again back to the square one. So though I personally am a very optimist, as a man, but I don't see there is any possibility of any early restoration or rather early normalization of India-Pakistan diplomatic relations. Thank you very much for your patience listening to me. Namaskar.